Welcome back to Cub Cadets. Going to remove a transmission out of that 1211 this morning. Right here is the 1282. Still have the red hood, just waiting for the decal kit. Did something a little bit different over the weekend and put the front emblem down on the corner here on the left. Ran some different pinstripes, and I'm not awfully happy with it, but the reviews have been pretty high on this machine right here. Also waiting for the decal kit for this 1211. And today we're going to remove this transmission. It's the same as an 1811, 1810, or any of them. We've already had the hydraulics. You saw that in a previous video. If you have something that you would like to see me do, just let me know. I am going to be bringing in a 1440, and we're going to dismantle it because I am in the salvage business, and I'm going to show you from start to finish how to do this. This is an unedited video, so we're going to move along quite rapidly. We have the bolts right down in there on both sides, the ones in the front, and we're going to pull apart where the brake spring is right there. That's where your neutral safety rod is right there. And we're going to disconnect the brakes here, and we're going to move this transmission. This is not one of the toughest jobs you'll ever do. They're actually quite easy after you do quite a few. So I'm going to put you in a stand, and we're going to do it. This is the most crucial portion of it right here, because if you break that cast iron piece right there, that'll be the most miserable job you do on a Cub Cadet, is put one of them in. So we're going to be very patient with it. We're going to spray it with WD-40, and we're going to pull the cotter pins out, and we're going to drop the pins. If you have any questions on anything you see me do, just send me an email. Be glad to help you any way, shape, or form. Now you're going to hear that click. Right there's the brake spring out of it. We're going to pull this pin out. If they're froze, keep working them quite a bit. I sprayed WD-40 down them. Now we're going to take the brake spring. I'll take you out of the stand real quick. These are very difficult. They put some kind of makeshift spring on this one right here. You want to get them disconnected. Drop them springs and rods right out of there. And this one here is fighting just a little bit. I've seen them much worse. There's no question about it. Maybe we better spray. We're going to spray down these bolts right here with WD-40. We're going to come over here, do the brake. I'm going to move the camera over to this side. We're going to pull this side here because it might be difficult. Now I left the wiring in this machine. I realize I've dismantled it on film here quite a bit. The reason I did that is so you see how to take, when you take the transmission out, the wiring harness, you kind of have to work around it a little bit. Now a lot of times I take the wheels right off, and I take the brake caliper right off. This time I'm not going to do that because you don't have to take the brake caliper off. It is the fastest way to do it. That spring came off. This is the correct spring on this side. Can't imagine the brakes worked real well on this machine. But I'm going to bring you to the back here. And we're going to start taking them bolts off right in this area right here. We're going to leave the front ones in till the very, very last. We're disconnected in the front here. Flip this lever up like this. And here's the control lever that goes to the dash. Just flip them up so they're out of the way. And when you put them back in, do it exactly the same way. Because if you get this one underneath, you have to either take that whole control out and get it flipped back up the other way, or you have to pull the transmission back out. I've been there, did that many times. How you learn is from your mistakes. It takes a 9/16, or I'm going to use a ratchet wrench. Now these might come very hard because this is aluminum case. I have been soaking these here, and when we pull the bolt out, I'll show you why. We might get a little oil on the floor. This is not the cleanest job you'll ever do. You want to soak these really well. And you can't see it on this one, but usually there's a red Loctite right on them. You want to save your bolts. You want to keep them right off to the side. I'm going to spray it down with some WD-40 again. Now, if they start fighting you coming out, turn them back and forth, in and out, and put lubrication on them because you don't want to bust one of these bolts in the transaxle. Then there did that too. One thing I always say is not everything goes perfectly here each and every day. You're going to break some parts. Some are not going to come off as easy as you would think. Everything looks easier on film. That's why I do a lot of videos unedited, so you see the good and the bad. See, I have oil coming right out of there. That means that the transmission is probably good because they have plenty of oil in it. I'm going to switch it to the other side here. I'll bring the light over here. And we're going to now this one here is coming a little bit hard. The cast iron cases come off a lot easier. And of course, when you have the internal brake, you don't have these brake calipers in the way. Me personally, I'd rather have the aluminum case. I know I'll get some fan mail on that. The first transmission I ever pulled was a 782 years ago, and I busted a bolt in the transmission case. So I had to take it all apart, weld, finally got the bolt out, extracted out of the case. I'm going to spray that down. This one's coming a little bit harder than the other one. In fact, I'm going to use a 3/8 ratchet with a stub nose socket. This bolt here is coming out a little bit harder. The reason I haven't taken the front bolts out yet to hold the case pretty straight, so it makes these easier to come out. You see that I'm working around the harness here. You definitely want to pull the battery tray that's out right here. You want to pull that off. And I'm going back to this wrench. And the reason why is I don't want to get the ratchet caught in the brake caliper. Now we're going to pull the front bolts off. You can't do this without making a mess. There's no question about it. Oh, I forgot to, one thing I did forget to do is, and I'm going to turn that back in, there's a double nut in the inside there. I'm going to get a regular 9/16 wrench. And that's just to retain the nut inside there for the brake spring. I'll show you that nut right there. That nut is right there. It's just a half nut, but it is a locking nut. That's not obviously not on the other side. We're going to come back to this side right here. You can see I have a mess on the floor. Okay, now we're disconnected. You can see the wiring harness is still in there with a solenoid and all that right there. We're gonna have just enough room with this control to scoot this right back. I'm gonna move the camera over in this area right here. And we're going to remove that transmission. Now something I do, I don't know if it's a smart thing or not, I spray in the inside here with WD-40. It does make it a little bit easier. My front wheels are all choked. And you can see it's out right there. Now, I'm going to put the bolts right back in, and I'm going to show you why, because I'm leaking oil. So keep your bolts right close. I'm leaking out this side here just to minimize the floor mess. So I'm going to show you the transmission. Right there, it's out. Actually, I'm going to use this transmission. I have a project coming up, thinking about making a 982, and I might use this transmission for it. So if you have any questions, just email me. Be glad to help you at any time. Thank you so much for watching my channel. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Everyone have a great day, and thanks for tuning in.